G'day, it's Mark again, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about a new addition to the collection, a 1961 Ford Galaxie. It's actually a town sedan, which is the up-spec model in the Galaxie range, and it's a car that I have had my eye on for some time. I really like the look of these cars. The 60 Ford, they sold a reasonable number. They sold, 810,000 back in 1961. The 61 Ford was based off the restyle that took place in 1960. Wasn't a huge fan of the 60 Ford design. I felt the front grille, they were making the car look a little bit narrow with those sort of inset headlights. But for 61, they really pushed the headlights out to the extremities. They had a concave grille, which I quite liked, with a fairly strong horizontal line through the center. If you look you can see that quite clearly. I particularly like the rear of the car. They've used those typical Ford round turbo or turbine style taillights, but they're really out at the extremities with very small fins, and it just really accentuates the width of the car. I think that looks really, really good. There's a pretty extensive range of models available in the 1961 Ford. It was based off the previous 1960 model update, which was the second generation in the Galaxie range, which debuted back in, I think, 59. The base models in the sedan range were the Fairlanes, and then the Galaxie was the more up-spec model and the more popular model. There was a different roofline on the Galaxie, more of a Thunderbird-style roofline. If you look at the the 50s and early 60s Ford Thunderbirds, you can see the influence of the roofline there. So that was on the Galaxies. And then there was a choice of wagons, either based on the Fairlane or the Galaxie, with your choice of either a country sedan or I think ranch wagons. And then there was a top of the range Country Squire, which was the wood grain wagon, which I particularly liked. And then you also had the Starliners, and then you had the Sunliner as well, which I think was a convertible. So there was quite a range. The one that I've bought is a town sedan. It's a up-spec, top of the range 4-door sedan with which has got the central B pillar. A up-spec 4-door pillarless hardtops, and there was a Club Victoria. And the one I really like, but it's very, very rare, very hard to get, is the Town Victoria, which was a pillarless 4-door, but it also had a little kick up on the rear door. And I really like that style and that idea. In fact, even though I'm not a massive fan of 1957 Fords because of the strange sort of headlight shape, although 57 Ford outsold the 57 Chev, I really do like, there's an up-spec version available, which also had that little kick up on the 4-door body style, and I thought it really made the car look terrific. So I'd even consider getting one of those if I saw one day. But, we can only have so many cars in the collection, I guess. In terms of the range that was available, the Starliner was the sports, fastback sort of roof line that, was used in NASCAR quite extensively. The engines across the range, you could get a 6-cylinder, which was like a mileage maker 6. You could get a 292 Y-block V8. The engine that's in the car that I've bought is a 352 V8, which is a FE block. And then also available as an option was the 390 V8, Thunderbird V8. That was available across the model range as well. And like I said, they sold about 810,000, Fairlanes and Galaxies for the 1961 model year. That compared to about 1.192 million Chevrolets. So Chevrolet did outsell the Ford that year. Although Falcon, if you look at Falcon sales versus Corvair, which is in that subcompact field, they sold a lot more of the Falcons. But that's another story. Won't get into that now. But the car that I've bought is it's red. It's called Monte Carlo Red. It's the town sedan. It's got a beautiful interior, which has a lot of bright work, particularly even inside the C-pillar, which I think looks particularly nice. 352 Cruise-O-Matic transmission. I particularly like the bright work that they put on the exterior on the rear quarter panels. I thought that looked really terrific. The bottom of the C pillars, even a little dress-up hood ornament, which is quite nice with a translucent sort of effect on the center of the hood. And like I say, these are really, in my mind, a really good-looking car, but they don't have a huge collector status. You know, they're not overly popular. And one thing I would say about them, you do see them every now and again in wrecking yards and things like that, or you see them for sale as well. More so the two doors. But I particularly wanted the four door, and I particularly wanted either a town sedan or I wanted a town Victoria. They're the only ones I wanted. I was even looking at a town Victoria, which needed a massive amount of work. But this car came up, still needs some work, but not anywhere near as much as the other one. Got it for a really good price. Obviously, it's going to need some work. I'm not going to bring it in initially. I'll store it over with some friends in Michigan for the time being. But at least I've got it, right? I've always wanted one. The big problem with 61 Fords, rust, and more rust. The survival rate for 61 Fords, if you look at the classifieds, it was very low. I don't know why. I know there was a recession in sort of 60 and early 61. There was UAW strikes. I don't really think that had anything to do with it. Maybe it's the rust proofing that was or wasn't employed in the manufacturing process. I really don't know, but the survival rate of them is very, very low. This car, I need to do some work on the rear quarters in terms of rust repair, at the very least. Need some work on the transmissions. 352 V8, I think that's a fairly bulletproof engine, so that should be fairly straightforward. All the inner guards, the doors, the body, the roof and everything are in good condition. The interior is in really good condition as well, but the rear quarters definitely need replacing. It's got all the original garnish trims that go over the top, which no doubt probably assisted in helping the rust through because, whenever you put sort of hang-on stainless parts on cars, you get dirt and debris and moisture in there, and that also contributes to rust as well. But, yeah, I won't be able to really give you updates on the vehicle because it's going to be over in the US for the foreseeable future. Although I may be able to give you an update in a few months if I'm heading over there soon. But anyway, look, I just wanted to give you an update on that. I really like the 61 Fords. Keen to see what you think. As I said, not a huge, not one of the most popular Fords, that's for sure, but I really like them. As I say, I love that accentuated body design in terms of the width. The headlights are right out at the extremities, so are the tail lights. So you've got that very low, wide look, and I really like that. One styling feature I'm really keen on in particular is that stainless trim that runs along, and it actually conceals or it becomes the door handle. And that feature or that styling was also employed on the 61 to 63 Thunderbirds. Thought that just was a really nice way of integrating, some bright work trim into a functional feature like the door handle. So yeah, I think that was a really nice feature. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed that episode. And what do you think about the 61 Fords? Like it, love it, hate it? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.